We have a Congressman, Donald Payne Jr., that will be arriving here shortly. But I need for you all to interact, get involved, ask questions, right? I want the world to see, because this is going to be on social media, right? I want the world to see. Don't get nervous, anyone. Don't get nervous. I want the world to see how very scholarly our students are here at Abraham Park High School. So ask very inquisitive questions, right? Intelligent questions. Articulate yourselves very well. The panelists will do the same. I talked to them as well. I already prepped them, right, ladies and gentlemen? They were prepped well. So we want you to do the same, okay? So you will ask a series of questions as well. You'll come to the microphone. Where's our hostess with the mostest? Where is she? Absolutely. Give a round of applause. Helen, our senior vice president. So she'll be walking through the aisles, the microphone. We want you to ask questions. Ask questions of your peers. Ask questions of our other panelists that are on the dais. Ask questions of the congressmen, okay? So really get involved and interact with all the panelists and the congressmen today, all right? This is an event for you, all right? We want to put it out there. All we do is for our scholars, you know that. So we really want you to get excited and get involved today, all right? I'm excited. Are you excited?
Oh, yeah.
I can't hear you. Are you excited? Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on. Are you excited? Of course, we have Mayor Dasco here.
Hold up, Mr. Mickey.
Take it away. You got
Mr.
it.
Mickey, you told me these kids are excited, ready to rock and roll. I said, are you excited today? You guys are winning. Are you excited today? They're beating you out. Are you excited today? Okay. I don't know. You guys are leading. You're leading. All right, you stepped your game up. I love that. I love that. All right. Come on in and get settled. We want to get started because this day is full of goodness. And this day was designed just for you. All right, I need everybody in the back to come forward. All right, before I introduce the baddest principal I know to kick us off, I just want to test the water to see who's excited about today. Let's see one side versus the other. Are you excited? Are you excited? I'm gonna give you one last chance. Hold on. These two brothers right here, stand up. Right here, yeah. Listen, these brothers, every time I come here, you guys look the sharpest and the baddest. So give them a round of applause. I see your style. I see it. I recognize it. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys one more chance. Are you excited? Okay, give them one more. Let them know. You got the uniforms on. Are you excited? All right, guys, that's it. You only get 2 chances. Without further ado, let's introduce the baddest principal that I know, Rashawn Mickey.
We are the Rams. We are Ram ready. We are the Rams. And we are Ram ready. Come on, guys.
That's right. Yo, Councilwoman Wilkerson definitely got the blood flowing, right? And she called to your attention how excited you should be here this morning. You should be very excited to be here this morning because we have a very, very special program that we're going to provide to you today. Very special program. And I want us to definitely be attentive. I want us to listen. I want us to learn. I want us to ask questions. I told you guys, we want to make sure the world sees how scholarly our Abraham Park High School students are. Give yourselves a round of applause because we know you're Ram ready. We know you're Ram ready. All right, so I want to introduce some very important people that are here with us this morning. All right, first and foremost, I want to acknowledge our mayor who was here with us this morning. Mayor Christine Danzero, give a round of applause. She's also on the panel. Thank you for being here, Mayor Danzero. And also, the individuals responsible for putting this event together. Councilwoman Denise Wilkerson, give her a round of applause. And Committeeman Kenneth Jones, Mr. Jones. Also, I call her, I reference to her as the Queen of Roselle. This lady needs no introduction, really she doesn't, but we just love her dearly. Ms. Myrtle Counts from our Roselle chapter, Ms. Counts, we love you there. Look at this foxy, she wants to look there. We love you, Ms. Counts. Also, Councilman-elect, Mr. Brandon Brunner is here as well. Thank you for being here, Mr. Brunner. Look forward to having you in office officially in January, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Look forward to it, sir. Community outreach, who's actually one of the coordinators, and he assists our Congressman Payne as well. We want to definitely say hello, and thanks for being here with us this morning, Mr. Blake Johnson. Mr. Blake Johnson, thank you, sir. And a great friend of mine, I'm glad that he reached out to me, and he's here today with us this morning. He's been involved in Abraham Park High School Sigma Beta Club, and he's just a great friend to call on, just to give advice, and he's always there for our students in our community. He's a champion for our community. He worked very closely with President Barack Obama through the I Am Our Brother's Keeper initiative. Remember that? When President Obama was in office, the I Am Our Brother's Keeper initiative. This is the gentleman that was responsible for it, Mr. Tahiti Boone, who's here with us this morning. Thank you, Mr. Boone. My God. And he's also a member of the New York Knicks basketball organization. And he won't say this because he's a very humble gentleman, but he had some game. He had some game. He can put it down, so a little bit. So thanks for being here with us this morning, Mr. Boone. Also, our assistant superintendent is here with us. She's in the house here, Dr. Perez. Thank you for being here this morning. Dr. Winter is out of business today, so he couldn't be with us, but he definitely sends his best to all of our panelists, Congressman Payne, and all of our scholars here at Abraham Park High School. I see the most involved, one of the most involved parents that's here with us today, Ms. Renee Smith. I see Ms. Renee Smith there. Ms. Involved Smith, that's who she is, because she's always involved. She has a student, her child, her son is here at Abraham Park High School, which is our student, and her son, her eldest son, graduated last year from Abraham Park High School, one of our scholars, and he's now attending Sacred Heart University in Connecticut, so we're going to give that a round of applause as well. Right, wonderful happenings are occurring here at Abraham Park High School. Wonderful happenings. And I also want to thank Miss Kathy Lloyd. Miss Kathy Lloyd's on the camera from Tappan too. She's always supportive, she's always here for us. Kathy, we love you. You got them on camera?
We're good.
Thank you. We really appreciate Kathy. She captures all the memorable moments here at Abraham Park High School, all the wonderful happenings that are occurring here. She's here to capture them and encapsulate them for years to come. So we greatly appreciate that, Kathy. Thanks for being a part of our Abraham Park High School family. Thank you. And Jennifer is here as well. Absolutely. From Jockey Communications, which is our district and borough communications firm, and she works tirelessly as well to support our scholars here and the many wonderful programs that we have occurring here at Abraham Park High School. So again, give everyone a round of applause again. Excellent. And I can't forget the man who many of us are here to see today, Congressman Payne. Give Congressman Payne a round of applause. Stand up to your feet. Stand up to your feet. Stand up to your feet. Let's give him a nice Ram ready welcome. Stand up. Congressman Payne, this is for you, sir. Nice Ram ready welcome. Right? So this is for Congressman Payne. Ready? When I say Ram, you say ready. We want to make sure everyone's ready. You know I love it. When I say Ram, you say ready. Ram. Ready. Ram. Ready. When I say Ram, you say ready. Ram. Ready. Ram. Ready. When I say ram, you say ready. Ram! Ram! We are ready for you, Congressman Payne. We're ready. We're ram ready for Congressman Payne. Take a seat. Give yourselves a round of applause for being ram ready this morning. So this is what we're going to do here today. All right, we have Congressman Payne here, obviously, and I want to thank our staff for being here as well. All of our staff, give it up for our staff, our teachers, our support staff that are here, the auditor as well. Give it up for them too. This is how it's going to work today. We have Congressman Payne here, obviously, and we have a series of questions that we're going to ask of him. All right, we have our hostess with the mostest. Where is she? Miss Haley. Give her a round of applause. Our hostess with the mostest here. So we have some questions that you all should have. All right, we have some questions on the dais as well. But she's going to go to the audience, and when we have the questions after the Congressman comes up and speaks, and Haley is going to introduce him, give him his formal introduction, we need for you to participate and get involved. A series of questions that we have for you that we prepared for you. Or if you just want to ask a question on your own, feel free to do so. We want you to engage and interact with this entire affair here today. It's for you, right? This is a learning experience for each and every one of you, and we want you to always seize the moment. When there's an opportunity for you to learn, we want you to seize the moment. We talk about that often here at Abraham Clark High School. So we have Congressman here who took time out of his very busy schedule, right? He has a lot to do. He could be anywhere else, but he's here with us, with our scholars here at Abraham Clark High School. So I think that deserves a round of applause, right? Because he could have been anywhere else. Thank you for being here with us today, Congressman. So from there, we'll have the panel discussion. After we give a series of questions to the Congressman, we want to involve our panelists as well. Okay, your peers. We have a councilman-elect here. We have Mayor Dangerow. We have the Queen up there on the dais as well. And then, of course, we have your peers. So we want to ask a series of questions. And from the peers aspect, right, ask some questions of our peers that, of course, relate to the many of the experiences that you are going through here at the high school or in your communities, okay? So we ask that you interact with them. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the hostess with the mostest. Give her a round of applause, Haley, as she comes to the microphone. Councilwoman, do you want to say something?
We'll call you in a second. So I want to make sure you understand purpose. You should never be anywhere without understanding why you're there. Today is designed specifically for you because we believe in you. We believe in your ability to work together, right? To learn together and to change the world together. And so this whole movement is designed so that you, because a lot of times as adults we speak over you, around you, through you, and you're not at the table. How can we ask for you to be engaged and we haven't invited you to the table? And that's what today is about. We want you to learn. Yes, give that a round of applause because I think you get a bad rap, right? Sometimes they say our young people don't want to be involved, they're not engaged. Well, we've got to give you a reason to be engaged. We're going to let you know that you have the right to drive change. I want you to repeat after me. I can drive change. I will drive change. And that's what today is about. I want you guys to understand, identify the issues that are important to you. We're going to teach you how to do research and know the pros and the cons around an issue and how to organize and rally and drive change. And we are so blessed that the Congressman came to help us get that message across. So that's the why. That's the purpose for today. Are you excited about that?
Yes.
I don't believe it. Are you excited about that? Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Without further ado, I want to introduce our hostess with the mostest. Give her a round of applause right now.
Congressman Payne has a very distinguished bio. Here are a few of his accomplishments. U.S. Representative Dane Donald M. Payne, Jr. is a lifelong representative of Newark, New Jersey. Since 2012, he has served the people of the 10th Congressional District of New Jersey, which covers portions of Essex, Hudson, and Union County. Representative Payne, Jr. is a tireless fighter of New Jersey families working to create jobs and grow the economy, protect and invest our children, and ensure the health and safety of our communities. Representative Payne Jr. has built a record of accomplishment in Congress. He introduced 2 bills that were signed into public law by President Barack Obama, including the Department of Homeland Security Interoperable Communications Act of 2015, which ensures that DHS personnel can reliably communicate during emergencies. In 2017, Representative Payne Jr. sponsored H.R. 1372, the Homeland Security of Children Act, which requires the Department of Homeland Security Office of Strategy, Plans, and Policies to review and incorporate feedback from organizations representing the needs in children into DHS policies. Representative Payne Jr. fought for a $900 million appropriation to fund the Gateway project of a multi-billion-dollar project to rebuild transportation infrastructure between New Jersey and New York. Representative Payne is a strong supporter of the Affordable Care Act, which provides thousands of New Jerseyans with access and high-quality, affordable health care. He has been a strong advocate for investing and protecting the health of our children, introducing the Test and Lead Act to protect children from lead contaminating drinking waters in schools. He is a co-chair of the Congressional Men's Caucus. Representative Payne began his long career in public service when he founded North-South Board Junior Democrats, becoming its first president. He also served as an advisor to YMCA Youth in Government program. He attended Kane College, which is now Kane University, where he studied graphic arts. He lives in Newark with his wife Beatrice and 3 triplets, Donald III, Jack, and Yvonne. Let's give him a great Abraham Clark welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Well, I guess I might have done a couple things. It's a real honor and privilege for me to be back here at Abraham Clark High School. This is not my first opportunity to come before a group of students. Several years ago, I was invited to be here, and it's great to be back. It's great to have a school that is interested in government and engages the young people with their leaders to know what actually is on their minds and what they are doing for you in your best interest. Let me just first acknowledge the Honorable Mayor. It's good to see you again and be in your presence. And a friend of my family for decades, and was a good friend to my father and has continued to support me, Ms. Counts, Myrtle Counts. It's so good to see you. Let me say, you know, as your congressman, it's good to be here with empowered young people to talk about issues that matter to you. And this is about issues that matter to you. I was given, I know you have a boatload of questions for me, and I'm going to try to do the best I can to answer them. But I'd like to give a special thanks to Principal Mickens and Councilman Wilkerson, and all the parents out there, and mostly important, all you students that are participating today. Before we get to the question and answer session, I want to briefly touch on why it's so important that each of us get out and vote in this election and in every election. The right to vote is at the core of who we are as a nation. It's the only right that you have that once you are born as a United States citizen, you have. You are born with that right. Voting is the primary power that you have to affect the world around you. Men and women have been attacked, beaten, jailed, and killed to secure that right. So we shouldn't take it lightly. One of my colleagues in the House of Representatives, Congressman John Lewis of Georgia, was just a few years older than you are when he first got involved and was beaten and had his skull cracked open in Selma, Alabama, on the front lines of the struggle for African Americans to have the right to vote. Each of us owes it to ourselves and those who put their lives on the line to vote. So look, I know some of your friends probably say that voting doesn't matter because your vote doesn't count for much anyway. But let me tell you, your vote very much counts. In Virginia last year, one of the elections came down to a tie, and they had to do a drawing to decide which person won. So every single vote counts. Every one of those votes matter. And I think about this for a second. If your vote didn't count, why would people work so hard to convince you to stay home? To keep you out of the voting rolls? You know, there's voter suppression in this country now where they try to keep certain groups of people from voting because they know how much power it is. Elections shouldn't come down to pulling a name out of a hat or a bowl. It should be decided by citizens exercising their right to vote. Maybe some of your friends say, I'm just not really into politics. Well, you may not care much about politics, but politics doesn't care whether you care. What do I mean by that? Politics has a direct effect on your life, whether you vote or not. Politics determines how much to protect the air you breathe, or the water you drink, or the food that you eat. Politics determines whether an LGBT person can be fired from their job, or whether a woman has to be paid the same amount as a man. That's what the voting does, and politics in your life means. If you don't vote, someone else will fill that void and answer those questions for you. Their voice will count, yours won't. Look, young people outnumber old folks in this country. But guess who reliably votes? Older people. You wouldn't let your grandparents pick your clothes out, would you? Or your sneakers, right? So don't let them pick who gets to represent you in government. Vote. It's that important. Thank you very much. I'll end with that and try to take on these tough questions. Thank you.
All right, are you ready? Princess, let's go. All right, we're gonna go around the room and ask questions. We'll let you ask your question.
I don't know if I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I don't know.
Does anybody have a question? Okay, I'll start off with my own question. So, foreign policy is a hot button issue lately. To what extent do you agree or disagree with Donald Trump's foreign policy practices? Could you provide an explanation?
I don't subscribe to any of his foreign policy notions. Mr. Trump does not have an understanding of foreign policy and what we need to do in order to make sure that this country remains safe. He has a lack of understanding of our humanitarian place in the world, and making sure that human rights are not violated anywhere in the world. He just the other day said that he's a nationalist. So a nationalist is someone that only thinks about their country, their nation. They're looking inward. He doesn't look outward to the globe. So foreign affairs is something that he's very not very interested in. So no, I don't subscribe to any of his policies in terms of foreign affairs, and I dare say that there is a lack of vision from the president in that area.
Thank you. Okay, panelist Cyrus, would you like to ask him a question?
You are a lifelong resident of Newark, New Jersey. How has your life in Newark influenced your decision-making as a congressman?
Well, prior to going to Congress, I worked in special education transportation. I was responsible for handicapped students getting to school. And it really shaped my view on making sure that every child had the opportunity to get an education. And so it was my job to make sure that, irregardless of their circumstance, that they were able to attend school. So it was a lot of pressure and dealing with a lot of issues. And but I seem to be pretty good at it. Troubleshooting, making sure that you know, parents were okay with transportation, the students were getting to school on time with the Board of Education, and put myself in these parents' situation and their circumstance, understanding, being a child in Newark all my life, understanding the hurdles that they had to go through and the things that they were up against, allowed me to be able to make sound choices, which allowed me to create a base from which people had a kind of ease with me, and I got a reputation of being able to help children in their educational surroundings. So that led me to decide to run for office. You know, I was pretty good at helping these kids get to school and their parents get to school and solving issues. I said, so now why don't I try to help their parents? And so that's when I ran for city council in Newark and became the president of the city council in my second term. But all my experiences in Newark has allowed me to understand what people are going through on the ground. I lived it, I've been there, and so I understand. I live on the same street that my father raised me on. My family's been on the same street for over 50 years. So my father moved there, I was raised there, and I'm raising my triplets on the same street. So you know, I'm pretty entrenched in that neighborhood. So I think that is what really helped me in my foresight in public office. And I went to Hillside High School, so we used to beat y'all sometimes, and so that gave me a perspective outside of Newark as well. So it was a balance for me coming up, which has allowed me to be able to deal with issues for people across the spectrum.
Thank you. Amari Perez, would you like to ask your question?
Congressman Payne, you have been serving as a congressperson for 6 years now. What would you say is the most important life lesson that you've learned?
You know, there's so many. You know, it's been such a change on the federal level as opposed to the municipal. You know, when I was president of city council, I would have to make, you know, 7, 8 big decisions a day, to put 3 or 4 off to the next day. Well, in Congress, it's 7 or 8 an hour. I mean, things are flying at you so quickly that, you have to be able to hear the information, digest it, and make some type of decision on which direction to go. Not necessarily settle the entire issue, but get it moving in a direction. And, in Congress you have very good staff. And so they would do a lot of the research and the information that I need. I let them know what I need. They find out, and then that helps me formulate how I move forward on the issues. So life lesson, really, I was a bit of a procrastinator by nature. And so being in Congress, I've had to step up and make decisions. I couldn't put them off. In Congress, when a member tells you that they're going to do something, within a half an hour or an hour, it's done. And so I had to learn to work at that pace. Like, I tell you, I'll get to it, and then, 2 days later I get to it. I think the life lesson I learned in coming to Congress was to deal with things right then and there and the issue, so it doesn't compound later.
Ariana.
What plans do you have for the future to continue creating jobs and growing the New Jersey economy?
Well, I serve on Homeland Security, and if the Democrats win the election in November, I'll become chairman of the subcommittee on Homeland Security, which is emergency preparedness, response, and communication. Now, it's a long title, but basically, it would make me responsible for any man-made or natural disaster that happens in the United States. So whether it's a terrorist attack or a hurricane or tornado, it would fall under my purview to deal with those circumstances to make sure that the American people are safe. So it's an awesome responsibility. I've been very busy during this hurricane season already, but if I became chairman, then the onus would fall on me to a greater extent. I'm also on transportation and infrastructure, which is something that's very important committee in the House of Representatives. And that deals with bridges and tunnels and roadways and highways and all of that. I'm working on the Gateway Project. Gateway Project is a 10-year, multi-billion-dollar project to build another tunnel between New York and New Jersey, rail tunnel. During Hurricane Sandy, the Lincoln Tunnel was decimated by the floods. They flooded, and salt water got into those tunnels and damaged a lot of the electrical components in there. So they need great repair, but you could not shut down one of those tunnels without having another one. So the project is to build a new tunnel in order to repair the other tunnels. And it will be thousands of jobs that would be created by that. I mean, all kinds, across the spectrum, not just construction, but signage, you name it. It will change the economy in New Jersey and New York. And so I'm pushing very hard to get that done, to make sure also that women and minorities are able to participate in getting some of those contracts that will be available. So that's been my major push. I've started a series called Build America, and I've had six different summits where we've looked at the construction trades, architecture. We just did technology, and bringing people around, letting them know about the jobs that will be available, meeting with the Port Authority, New Jersey Transit, Amtrak, and have them all involved in it as well. So it's a multi-billion-dollar project, and I'm working very hard to make sure that people in New Jersey can benefit from those jobs and the opportunity that's going to come along with that project.
In an age apart and other high stake standardized tests, how do you continue to support active students learning in the classroom?
Well, I think, you know, teaching to the test has been an issue that has been very controversial. I don't think that is necessarily the best way to go about it, but right now that is what's in place, so we have to abide by it. But I think teaching to the test does not allow teachers, you know, the opportunity to be bold and innovative in having young people use their minds in order to think abstractly and out of the box. You're teaching to the test. It's that groove that you just stay in and really don't veer from. So I don't think that is necessarily the best way to go about educating young people. I think there's some standardized tests that you need, some standards, but you know, based on the feedback that I received in terms of it, it is not very well received, and we should look at it as we move forward. Teaching to the test, I don't think allows the youngster to totally develop their ability to think and use their thought processes.
David?
Is there any other way to assess students other than just basing them off of test results?
Well, I'm not a teacher now. I would have to, defer to the experts in that area. I'm really not an educator, so to that question, I'm not sure what the answer would be.
I have a question. Even though most high school students can't vote yet, how else would we be able to get involved in the political world?
Well, I've been involved in campaigns since I was 4 years old. And, because you can't vote yet doesn't mean you can't participate. I'm sure there are people that you're interested in seeing elected. When you have your student body elections and you find candidates that you want to support, you should be looking at candidates that are impacting your lives outside of school as well. So when you are come of age, you have an understanding of the process. Like I said, I've been handing out literature and putting signs up and supporting candidates since before I can remember. So voting isn't the only way to participate. You can support candidates that you think are espouse the issues and the ideals that you would like to see in your life and in your government. So you can volunteer to work with them in their campaigns. You can do phone calls for them. You can do mailing for them. It's really, I think, important to participate even prior than when you come of age to vote.
I have a question. So you're considered to be a tireless worker for the city of New Jersey, the state of New Jersey. How do you plan on helping people who come here illegally without, deporting them or forcing them to come out?
Well, I think that we have to take a look at the whole issue around immigration. And definitely, obviously, what we're doing now is not working. Although we have to have secure borders. I think that there are issues around people of compassion and people that are coming here because of reasons that people have been coming here for 200 years are still in place. You know, there are a lot of people that come legally that play by the rules. So we have to figure out how we incorporate everyone into this discussion. You know, we do the best that we can in terms of trying to support people that come here. You know, I did a lot around the DREAM Act. I thought that the Dreamers were a group of young people that deserved to remain. They came here, you know, when they didn't have a choice to come here. They came with their parents. So I felt that they were in a unique position that we should support them being able to stay. So, you know, I continued. I worked on legislation, the DREAM Act of 2017, and you know, we fell a little short, but you know, we're going to continue to push for people to have the opportunity to come here and live, you know, the type of life that everyone that has come here has wanted to live. So this has been a country of immigrants. I don't understand why now there's this decision to try to change, you know, who we are and what we've been. And a lot of people that are espousing this, grandparents benefited from being able to come here. So, you know, we need to look at it in totality. And people need to remember, you know, where their genesis started. So.
I have a question. You just spoke about legislation. So what is the most difficult piece of legislation that you've ever voted upon? And what was the outcome of that vote?
There have been a few. You know, some of the votes that we take are not very easy. They're usually, you know, several groups that you support, and you have to make a decision. They end up on different sides of the issue, and you have to weigh which way you go, which is not easy. Somebody's going to be upset. But I try to, you know, use balance in everything that I do. Balance is very important for me. I think President Obama's trade legislation was very difficult. I'm a supporter of the labor unions, and most of them were against TPP, and the president was very adamant about trying to get it passed. As a matter of fact, he had, let's see, Susan Rice, Jay Johnson, Valerie Jarrett, and one other person reach out to me to try to get me to support TPP. It's a lot of pressure, you know, when you have secretaries in the administration calling you that you have worked with. But you know, I finally, Ms. Jarrett, who was President Obama's one of his main advisors, called me, and I just had to tell her, you know, I was, you know, respectfully, you know, had to dissent on this issue, and she wasn't very happy. I still remember that call. But you have to be true to yourself. My father was a congressman before me, and in public life for over 50 years. And my uncle, who is the author of the racial profiling bill in New Jersey, and also the legislator who created the Amistad legislation, which says that African American history should be incorporated in the history books that children in New Jersey are taught, not just February, but incorporated into the books where it fit in history. And we're very proud of that legislation. We've lived by a simple motto: to thy own self be true. To thy own self be true. And that is what has given us the ability to do what we need to do for people and not worry about what happens to us personally. You have to be true to yourself in this. People have called me everything but a child of God. I mean, everything. But I know that it's not true in my heart. I know who I am. So I don't respond to it. If it doesn't impact me, if it's not true. When you see people get all upset, like when you call them a name, it kind of hits them somewhere in here. I don't have that problem because I know that's not who I am. And so that allows me to do the things that I need to do for people at my expense sometimes. But that's okay because you've given me a responsibility that is great. And I don't take it for granted. And I don't abuse it. I am honored that you allow me to represent you. I am your voice in Congress. That's why I listen. I'm not a great orator, probably as you can tell. I am a listener. And then I go and I try to articulate your issues, the things that are important to you on the floor of the House of Representatives, what my constituents are talking about. That's how we discuss things in the Congress. So, to thy own self be true has really kept me, on the straight and narrow and able to do the things that I need to do in the face of a lot of controversy at times.
Thank you so much.
Let's give our moderator a round of applause. She did an amazing job. Thank you for the talent. Thank you, Congressman Payne. And I just want...
in that vein, I just want to leave you with a poem that has meant a lot to me too as I've moved through this life. And it says, whether you have blonde fleecy locks or black complexion, it does not forfeit nature's claim. Skin may differ, but affection dwells in black and white the same. But were I so tall as to reach the poles or span the oceans with my hands, I must be measured by my soul. The mind is the standard of a man. Thank you.
Want to thank you, and I want you guys to understand how important it is when someone comes to show how much they love you. Congressman Payne, we're in the middle of election season. We need to rally across the nation for those that believe in moving this country forward. He got off of the train this morning. You talked, what time was it? 6:40 this morning, he got on a train for you. And when I asked you to come, without hesitation, you said absolutely. And we appreciate you. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to be here in Roselle with our scholars. Let's stand up and give them a round of applause. Let's show them the love. And we thank you so much. Everybody to take a seat for a minute. I do want to get a picture, so we're going to take a little break and take a picture with Congressman Payne, because you're the head of our borough, and I appreciate you being here with us. And so we just want you to introduce yourself and just share whatever you want to share with the young folks.
Okay, so as you know, I'm Mayor Dancero, first name Christine. I moved to the borough of Roselle 33 years ago. Being in public office, as I'm sure many of you sitting here today, maybe some otherwise, it wasn't on my radar. It wasn't on my bucket list of what I was going to be doing. But being a child of the 60s and a revolutionary, fighting for causes, marching, peace, anti-Vietnam, all of that stuff that was going, civil rights, women's rights. For years, we were considered one of the most active, in terms of civil, quiet disobedience and sometimes not so quiet, trying to make change back then. Then after, death of many of our icon leaders, there was a quietness that fell on this country that was overly loud, and people were absent from feeling that they had a reason to vote. And I was just talking to one of these students here, and I said, to me, how I reconciled whether my single vote makes a difference is I likened it to the fact that single raindrops create ponds, rivers, lakes, and oceans. So your vote is like that. Now, the question is, what drove me later in life? I'm 71 years old, so I've been through many, many changes.
You look good, right?
I'll take that. But I'll take that, thank you. But, I was extremely radical in my teens and 20s because so much was happening in the world. I was watching my friends, get sent to Vietnam and not coming home. And they were mostly the ones, my friends that came from poor backgrounds, weren't able to be in college and were of color. And, they were dying. And if you ever get a chance to go down and see the wall, you'll see all the young ages, 18 and up, who perished and left a whole generation of youth in our age category gone. That is not a negative statement to those who gave their lives. Or I am 100% supportive, of our ROTC. My own grandson is now in the National Guard. It's not about them. It's about governments not making the right decisions and choices. So we spoke loud, and we were looking for peace. Everybody would like to create our generation as those who were just about love and drugs, but that's just to dismiss and to undermine the true value of what you were fighting for. And of course, women's rights. The same, and I so applaud the Amistad, which I was very involved in this town, getting involved with, that it should be the Amistad program, because the absence of people, women, people of color in our history is unacceptable. And it undermines, our community. We have to be very, very real about what this future is. It's a global economy. It is a global, you need to see outside the lines of demarcation, outside the labels that are placed upon you, and just eliminate them. I was inspired by the congressman who spoke in terms of not stinking thinking, I call it, not allowing stinking thinking to get in your brain and your hearts and dismiss your value. And so when I moved to Roselle, I had been more of a top-down voter. It was very hard living and coming from New York City to really become intimately involved in understanding who your local government was and how much they impacted you. Becoming a homeowner in Roselle taught me a lesson, okay? I won't go into the details because I don't want to take up all the time, but an issue happened that impacted our community when I moved there in '85, so much so that I had no choice but to go and try to get the government at that time to recognize a problem that wasn't just affecting my one home, but 400 homes. And so from there, once you vocalize your voice and you use your voice for the rights of others, people start knocking on your door and saying, well, you got to come represent our voice because you're speaking for others to help us. I was told in that particular instance it would never happen in my lifetime, and they were almost right, because the issue that I fought for and never gave up, and the patience and determination, just was resolved 3 years ago. So, what I say to you, perseverance, patience, determination, a strong belief in what is right, that you will probably have to be, even when you don't get the results instantly, because we live in that, McDonald's kind of world where we expect instant gratification. Like Martin Luther King, who never got to see the completion of his dream. That didn't deter him or stop him from being committed and involved to the future change for generations to come. And so from where I come from at this stage of my life, my thing right now, my purpose, is to drive forward the youth and to be a support system, almost a leader from behind that helps to bring you to the place, along with my colleagues, my youngest colleagues, to where you deserve to have your voice respected and heard on a multitude of issues. Nothing is simple. It'll require, at times, your perseverance and determination to understand, as simple as it may seem, to get those things resolved, it may take decades. But don't give up. Continue to persevere. Make a difference. Try to have your voice mean something. Even if you don't win the person of your choice or the day, it's about the future and your generation, so which I know you're not really maybe thinking about right now, but your children and your children's future. And that's what we're about. That legacy is all about all of us and the future and trying to make it better for everyone and fair and just. There is no justice unless everyone has the opportunities. And I'm not talking about, giveaways. I through executive order, made this town a sanctuary city. A lot of people came at me real hard about this, okay? And I come from a very diverse background, multicultural, multi-religion, and, as involved as I have become and interested in everybody's life and their ability and their right to become their best possible person, it's not about a giveaway. It's about a fair playing field and justice. And so it's complicated sometimes, but do it. Do it anyway, even if it's hard, because the right things sometimes aren't easy. So that's who I am. If you have any questions, please, the mayor's office.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mayor. We appreciate it. I do want to make sure, just so that, outside of Myrtle Council, I want everybody to take a minute. Okay, because we have to make sure that the people in the room get a chance to ask their questions, okay? Myrtle, we'll turn it to you to introduce yourself. The mic is right there.
Good morning. I'm Myrtle Smith Council, graduate of Abraham Clark High School. I'm an employee of the Roselle school system. I worked at all schools at one time. My mother worked in the lunch program at Grace Wilday School. And by the way, I'm the elder here, and I knew Grace Wilday. My reason for being here is because I need each one of you to take care of me. If Social Security goes out the window, medical care goes out the window. Everyone thinks that I need 2 canes, but I haven't stopped yet because I have something to do. I have to come here to tell you who you are and what you are to me. I am like everybody's grandmother, great-grandmother here. We need you. Young people have always been in the forefront of delivering us from evil.
That's right.
So that's who you are.
Amen.
And I'm depending on each one of you. You have a charge today. The charge that I'm giving you is to take care of each one of you, but make sure that you take care of the grandmothers and the children. That's important, and you're important for that reason. That's the reason that you're here. That's the reason that I'm here. I've been in the Roseville school system since I was starting school. And nobody in here, I'm sure, knows what infantile paralysis is. Later it became polio. But I used to carry a little canister around and collect money for infantile paralysis. And that's how long I've been involved in social justice. I've traveled, and I'm, as I said, lifelong resident of Roselle, but I've traveled to Europe, Africa, Central and South America. I've been in 39 states in the United States. I've met people from all over the world, coming from Roselle and living in Roselle. And strangely enough, in all those places, I was in another country and somebody said, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Roselle." lo and behold, they knew where Roselle was. You'd be surprised. People know where Roselle is. And not only that, we as elders have not given you all that you need to know about who you are. You need to look up about who you are and how important you are to the world. And you are important to the world. Each one of you can and will make a difference. Thank you so very much.
All right, good morning. My name is Brandon Bernier. I am soon to be the second ward councilman here in Roselle. I'm born and raised Roselle. I've lived my whole life 4 blocks down East 6th. I graduated from Roselle Catholic in 2010. And you can boo, that's fine. You know, as a young person involved in politics, and you know, I never thought a year or 2 years ago that I'd be running for council, let alone getting ready to sit on council, you know, with the mayor, with Councilwoman Wilkerson. But, you know, through this group of people who were looking to do what's best for this town and do what's best for all of you, your parents, your grandparents, you know, they supported me as a young person with a voice. You know, they didn't say, all right, you're 24, 25 years old, your voice doesn't matter. And that's the same thing we need to say to you. You're 17, 18 years old. Your voice matters just as much as mine does, just as much as the mayor's does, just as much as Myrtle's does. That's really the message I want to get across today to all of you, is that you're not too young to have your voice matter. Look at these kids in Parkland, going across the country talking about gun control. They're your age, they're my age, you know, and everyone, you know, puts us as this millennial generation. They talk about all of us on our phones. They talk about the kids eating Tide Pods, and you know, a lot of people try and, you know, put us in this bubble and talk down about millennials, but at the end of the day, our generation is the future. And you know, we all have to get involved, not just on those national issues, not just talking about the president every 4 years, but what's going on locally. You know, as the council and the mayor, we make decisions that affect each and every one of us, your parents, here in Roselle. So, you know, trying to just push this message that your voice matters locally, nationally, you know, hopefully you come up and ask whatever question you want, and hopefully we can give you the answers you need. But definitely, I look forward to it.
Thank you so much. And today is about the kids, so I really want to get here to you, and I want you to introduce, we're starting with you. And one thing about our youth that I want you to know, and most of you on the panel already know this, that's why you're in this leadership position today. But when you speak and you introduce yourself, you do it with power, and I'm starting with you.
Good morning. My name is Darren Newell. I'm a senior, and I have a strong passion for art and design, and I hope to eventually work for Disney.
Awesome. The man that knows what he's passionate about. I like it, I like it, I like it.
Hi, I'm Ariana Gonzalez. I'm a part of the National Honor Society. I'm often recognized for my hard work, and currently I'm #1 in my class.
When you're winning, you should talk about it, and I love it. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Good morning. My name is Willard Nelson, senior and representative and executive board member of the Sigma Beta Club. I would say I'm very involved in the community. I have over 200 community service hours. I would say I'm very outgoing, a great cook. I'm a great cook, which is one of my majors. I go into college for culinary arts and hospitality.
Hi, my name is Amari Perez. I am a senior, a representative of National Honor Society, and I consider myself a very involved and well-rounded individual.
I like it.
Hello, my name is Iris. I am the president of the National Honor Society. I take pride in leaving a good impression and setting a good example for my peers and those younger than me.
Good morning. My name is David Tacombe. I'm a member of National Honor Society and DECA. And 2019. Like, I'm passionate about a lot of things, like photography, modeling, like business, and like I consider myself to be well-rounded, and like in my future I also plan to like retire in like 10 years, but also like travel the world and just like enjoy life.
My name is Rolinda Lowell, and if you couldn't tell, I'm in ROTC. I'm also in DECA, and I'm hopefully going to be the student president for my senior class next year.
All right, and what was the thing that either you were passionate about or something good about you?
I'm passionate about fighting for human rights and people who don't necessarily have a voice, and especially about the planet.
People amazing or what? Okay, now, they're here and they're amazing, but we believe you are amazing. And so we want to hear from you. Diana, come on back down. Yes. You know Miss Wilkerson by now. Come on. But I want you to know why it's important to ask questions. It's important to ask questions because it's your life. Are you tired of people talking over you? Yes. No, you're not. Are you tired of people talking over you? Yes. Are you tired of people talking around you? Yes. This is your time, so I want to hear from you, okay? So first up, we have Diana. Let's give her a round of applause. Ask your question to the panel.
Yep. Loud and clear. I would like to ask this question to my peers. How do you feel technology has changed our society?
That's okay, she's going to talk louder.
Okay.
How do you feel technology has changed our society?
I'm just gonna dive in. I feel like technology had negatively impacted us. A lot of people don't focus on the right things anymore. Like, for example, education. Instead, they go home, go on social media, talk about each other. We're supposed to empower each other, not bring each other down. So I feel like technology has really did that.
Awesome. We're going to keep it to 1 or 2 responses because we do have other questions. Anybody else? One more person to take that technology question.
For me at least, I think that it all depends on how you use.
Stop. Yes. Whoever's here to swim, have to say question.
Kathy, we'll start. You want us to start off? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, for me, in my opinion, it all depends on like how you use technology. This like in this day and age, like you can view it negatively or positively, but it's all based on how you use the internet and how you use social media to empower and build people instead of to like break you down and to like destroy you. So
I second that.
I third.
All right, and I do believe that too, is how you use it. Technology is something that really can change your life, for the good or the bad. If you're so stuck in your social media and your cell phone, you're missing life. But if you use it for good, it can be a platform for change, okay? So remember that. So thank you for sharing that. You had an original question. What was your original question?
It's been like a year and some change now, but everybody, I think everybody would like to know when the field will be done. Okay.
All right.
The field will be done before the end of this year.
That was an interesting question. We don't want to suppress any question, whatever your question is. Thank you, Mayor, so much for answering that. And listen, hold on. I'm giving you all of me. I want what? All of us. That's right, I want all of you. So listen, when we're elected to serve you and your interests too, not just your parents. And Mayor, thank you for answering that because it's something that's important to you. So I want your questions to be something that's important to you. Who's next? All right, come on up here.
Do you feel like we're being prepared for college careers? Do you feel like we are being prepared for college or careers?
Education-wise?
I feel like a lot of the time we put the blame on teachers for not properly preparing us, but I feel like half the effort comes from the students, so if you really want to be prepared, you have to give your teachers that sort of respect and that sort of givens, that way they understand that they can help you. Because if we're just shutting ourselves away that we can't learn and we can't do this, there's nothing that they can do for us to help us. So.
Awesome. Anyone else? Okay, so I think that that's a valid point. It's a 50-50 game. He's got one more.
What drives you to be the best you can be at any time of day?
Oh, that's a good one.
For me, it's my father. He's my role model.
What drives you to be the best you can be at any time of day at any given time?
Go ahead. Okay. For me, what drives me is my dad. He's my role model, and he, honestly, anybody that knows me and him, he never stops working. So I use that as my inspiration to never stop working. Even when he has a bunch of stuff to deal with, work, taking me, my brother and sister to school, and paying bills, and he's a single father, so.
And it's an important note to us adults that our children are watching us. We can either inspire them or we can discourage them. So thank you for sharing how important our role is as adults and how it inspires you. So thank you so much. Anyone else? A question? Pass it to you.
Okay. So this question is directed to the older panelists.
I want you to come to the front and look at Kathy. Yes. You can turn around.
This question is directed to the older panelists. So, what is your stance on our teachers not having contracts?
Woo!
I'm an educator. I don't know if any of you know that. I'm a speech pathologist, and I worked, in my second career, I went back to school with my children and graduated from Cade University with them. My son's a physical therapist, my daughter's in business, and I became a speech pathologist after 18 years in corporate America. So here's what I say. When you set up a policy for contracts with teachers, you need to follow through. Okay, you need to follow through. On the same level, I understand that the dilemma, okay, that our teaching staff has, because most people get into education not because they will retire in 10 years or become very wealthy. I knew when I took on the challenge education, I actually stepped down to less money from corporate America to teach and to educate myself because it was a passion. So many of our teachers are there in the same way. You know, they're not respected in our country as well as they should be, and there's a number of ways in which to show that respect. Contractually is one of them. I am not in the negotiating place, so I don't know what is being put on the table in terms of what's reasonable. As you heard from Congressman Payne, you know, and the challenges come in terms of affordability sometimes and also reasonableness. I want to believe that the teachers are asking for reasonable and understandable. But without having facts in front of my face, I can only believe that's true coming from my experience and my passion and knowing these teachers in the school district who absolutely have similar passions to be educators, but they also have to pay bills. And they can't do what they love and believe and passionately care about, which is our youth, if they can't afford to live in the state of New Jersey.
Assuming I'm one of the older panelists, you know, it almost breaks my heart to hear you even ask that question. You know, a teacher's job is to come in and teach. Your job is to come in and learn. For you to even know that the teachers don't have a contract, to be concerned about it, it's not what you should be worrying about during the day. And it means that, you know, we failed, the Board of Ed has failed, and we need to, I come to the Board of Ed meetings every month, and I demand that they give the teachers a fair contract. And I normally come with facts and figures, and you know, if you look at the amount of money our district spends, the money is there to give the teachers the type of paycheck that they deserve. I think they need to understand that, you know, it's not just the Board of Ed issue, but the students are concerned about it as well, and that's something important to consider in this, that you guys should not have to worry whether or not your teachers have a contract. You should just be coming in and learning.
Thank you. Myrtle, did you want to touch on that or not?
I just want to touch on it to the degree that I believe education is so very important, and a happy worker is a happy giver. And if you're not paying your teachers the kind of financially, if they're not getting paid, they can't be happy. They can't be happy, they can't teach. And we need to start making education be the most important thing. Not only for you to get a job, but education is a right. And one that we all should.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for the question. I do want to be clear that there's a process that goes into the negotiations that your Board of Education, I need you with me, that the Board of Education is going through. Let's hope that they come out with the best for the teachers, the students, and all involved, okay? But it's a great question, and you have the right to hold people accountable. Any other questions? You see these shoes, right?
This question goes out to senior class. With all of the tests and applications and everything that we're dealing with, how would you guys go about the stress? How would you deal with all the stress that comes with all these standardized tests and applications and those kinds of things?
I got this one. Being a student athlete and during, like, especially during soccer season right now, it gets tiring, it gets stressful. So me personally, I like to distract myself with things that I'm passionate about. So art, music, even sleeping sometimes, always sleeping. Things of that sort should like try to be like that gateway to being peaceful and relaxed and things of that sort, to distract you from everything that's going around in school and things of that sort.
You guys want to touch up on that? Haley, you want to say something?
Yes, I do. I want to answer. How I deal with my stress is basically like viewing the finish line. Like, things is not going to be easy. This is just like the first step. Going to college is not going to be easy. It's going to be stressful and hard. But if you think about it, if you don't work hard, how are you going to get what you want to get or be what you want to be in life? So you just have to just think of it as all of this will pay off someday, and I will be successful, and I will be what I want to be.
I just wanted you to say what you had to say. You look very excited. How I cope with like the stress, because it is like stressful, because I do work and I have a lot of AP classes, honors classes. Just Teen Guide Zone, you can talk to Teen Guide Zone. They're really helpful with the college process, to be honest. And also, like, a little strategy I use, like, you have to see yourself at your finish line. Like, if you see yourself at your finish line, you're like, all right, these are the steps I have to get to go there. So just always imagine, like, yeah, I'm gonna make it.
Yes. I think that sums up the key question. Anyone else? Okay.
Back there.
Come on down. This is your time, come on down.
Oh, yeah,
Hold the mic close to your mouth.
Hi, I'm Stacy. I'm with the journalism class. And for my peers, I wanted to know how you guys are using your voices to make a change at the school.
Wow.
So I think I can answer this one. Everybody knows in my class that I love to talk, right? Yes. So any opportunity I have to speak for myself or speak for a small group of people, a large group of people, National Honor Society, Class of 2019, the AC Theater Company, Team Pep, anybody, I use it. So like right now is an opportunity. You'll be in this place next year, right? And you'll be able to speak on things that you feel passionate about. All of us sitting up here are using this opportunity right now and trying to give back and voice our opinions on questions and topics like these.
To add on to that, just last year, Amari, she got the whole class together to make us walk out for the 17 people who died in the school shooting. And although it felt small, it started a conversation and it got a lot of us involved, and we all got to talk about it and share feelings, and even in our classes it became a discussion just because one person decided to take that risk and go out and tell everyone that we should get involved.
I didn't know who started it, so I didn't, but that is what sparked today, was that march out, because we came here and we saw you and we were standing with you, and I felt like nothing else happened after that, right? And you were so courageous and you spoke well and you shared, and it was just so moving to me. And that's what today is about, to give you a platform to continue to drive change. This is going to be a year-long initiative where we want kids to sign up to be a part of a program where we're going to build leadership. We're going to build leadership by helping you identify what you're passionate about, identify what issues are important to you. We're going to teach you how to research around them. We're going to teach you how to organize and rally for change and do what Amari and the rest of the peers did to create that march out. You can drive change. We have support from the national level with Congressman Payne. We'll take a trip out to D.C., see what it's all about, but we want you to be engaged. You are the leaders of tomorrow. I need you to repeat after me. I am the leader of tomorrow. I am the leaders of tomorrow. If we don't have you, we have nothing, and that's why today was really designed for you. Any other questions? Okay, we're pretty active right now. Come on up. Here.
How you doing? My name is Nasir Page. I'm with the AC Theater Company. Listen, I was just wondering, how do you guys go about picking teachers for our school? How do you know they're fit enough to be here?
That's a great question.
So to be fair, because I don't want anyone to answer something that they're not, because no one here is on the board. Is there anyone from the board in the room that wants to answer that question? Okay, come on, Courtney.
Come on up, man.
He wants to know, how do you go about picking teachers for the schools and to see if they're fit for
the job or not?
Okay. Then we're going to wrap up.
Hello everyone, my name is Courtney Washington and I am currently sitting in an appointed position on the Board of Ed, and I'm running for re-election, on November 6th. How we pick teachers is we work with our superintendent, and they also work with their principals, and they put those people up front, in front of the superintendent. So they submit their resumes just like you would for a job, but that information goes to the superintendent. Then it goes to a personnel committee. And when those things go through personnel committee, I don't sit on the personnel committee, but the personnel committee then reviews all of that person's credentials. They do a reference check. There's a thing in New Jersey called pass the trash, and they look at that to ensure that we're not bringing someone into our district who is not fit to be a teacher for you. Okay, thank you so much for that.
Good question. Give him a round of applause for that question. And if there's an issue, you have the right to raise it to those that are in authority, okay? So your voices are important. We're gonna wrap up. Mr. Mickens, how much time do we have? Another? 5. Okay, 2 more questions and I gotta close out. Our hostess with the most is, I gotta give it to you.
This is for mainly you guys on the side. But what future programs do you have for future kids, like coming into the school, as far as giving them things that us seniors didn't have within our 4 years?
Again, you're asking a Board of Ed question, okay? You're asking about programs. We do municipal programs outside of the school. Are you talking about the outside programs? Oh, okay, I thought you were only speaking, okay. So I stand corrected. So in terms of the outside programs, we have a number of projects that are on the table right now. One that we're working on with a committee that I put together is the expansion of a multicultural, multi-purpose 21st century library that will house a theater, will house rooms for teens, for preteens, children, of course adults, areas that, conference rooms that can be used for a variety of programs. Everything from maybe teen dances to just places where you can communicate, but also have the opportunity to get involved at the academic level in the other arenas in the library. So we're raising the standards, more computers, all of this we're working on right now as we speak. In addition to that, of course, you see us working on the field. That field, of course, didn't belong to the borough, so in order to be able to bring to the high school and just the town in general, a field that was obviously was falling apart, a field that you could be proud of and have more sports present on the field, from our running teams to our football or soccer and others. In order to do that, we had to lease the property from the school so that we could go after a grant that is only given to municipal government, not to education. And we were able to secure several $1 million in order to do that. And that's one of the other things, to provide opportunities. Of course, you know, one of the things that we do, which is multiple various programs that are available throughout the year, you know, for young people to participate in, depending on the age. We do the teen night at Sylvester Landfield, you may be aware of, but we're always open to more and more advice, and here's where you can get involved, okay? Send us requests of what you think. We have a survey going on right now, which has to do with the redevelopment of Chestnut Street. But how about this? Contact the mayor's office through text mail. I know that's technology, but I kind of think technology works in favor. This is your town, okay? If you see a need or a lack thereof, text mail me, 908-956-5557. Your eyes, your ears, your personal needs of how we can improve and add programs to this town that benefit our youth and benefit, of course, other people that you see. We are always available, and we incorporate it, you know, in our plans for the future in our budget. So 908-956-5557.
Just Google it.
Just Google it.
I just want to jump in for one second. One thing I really want to work on is, in my normal life, I'm an electrical engineer. So whatever I can do to bring engineering and technology to all of you in a fun way, and work with the Board of Ed in creating programs that it's not just in school, but after. What can we do to make this more accessible and show you the kind of fun and cool things that you can do with science and technology? So taking that experience and bringing it to you, I'm really excited.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. We got to get 2 questions in, and we are wrapping up, and I got a nice closing exercise for you. Yes. Interact.
Jada Graves, and I'm
the journalism program. I want to know, with the elections coming up, how can we bring awareness to our national issues affecting our country to the younger generation?
Was this directed towards peers?
Anyone
on the team.
Well, I just want to say something. I have a button on here that says "Our lives matter. Your vote counts." And that's what we need to know. Your vote counts. Oh, I'm sorry. Your vote counts, and our lives matter. Our vote counts. And I just wish I had had enough of these to bring them for everybody here, because your vote do count. Friday a week ago, I came here and did some voter registration for 18-year-olds and those that would be 18 by primary time. And I was told by a few students that, oh, it doesn't make any difference. I don't care whether I vote or not. They're not saying anything that I want to say. Well, you know what? It should be saying, you should be voting. If you don't want to vote for anyone in particular, vote for yourself. Be counted. Be counted in the vote, and you can change this country if you go in and vote enough. Young people stop the war in the United States. Stop the war. And that is what you can do. You can stop anything. You are important. Anything that you want to stop or bring in that's good. And who's protecting your environment? When they tell you that global warming isn't working, guess what? It's working. Global warming is going to have floods, etc., fires and floods. We should be involved. Our young people need to be involved in the environment.
And if I might make a suggestion from an old 60s revolutionary, okay. Everything started, believe it or not, sometimes in faith-based organizations where we were able to get together, as well as in the school clubs and civic groups. But everything from just passing out leaflets, petitions, getting people to sign up, arranging, sending petitions to all your local officials, all your officials above, who speak to, because part of our job here at the local level, as the Vice President of the Urban Mayors Association for Northern New Jersey, I meet with other mayors all the time, and I bring school issues that I garner from not only you, but teachers and other people, and let them know what our needs are, and other things like gun violence and the marijuana issue, and all of those things are constantly being. So you can speak, whether it's, emailing, petitioning, I say flyers because that's what it was in my day. We went out with flyers, but hand flyers, but you guys use your social media to start the information. I think you were alluding to that before, or someone saying, is technology good or is it bad? Okay, if it makes sense and it gets your voices heard, then get behind it and let all of your representatives know where you stand. And you can do that through the mass media that you have today. And whatever you want to call yourself, Youth for Empowerment, or Future Voters of America, whatever you want to call it, brand it and put it together, and then build on that platform and keep the message that you decide is most important to you constantly ever going to your local officials and your national officials.
Thank you so much, Mayor. This is our last question, and I'm going to pick who's going to answer it. Amari's going to answer it, and I'm going to have Mrs. Counts close out.
Hi, my name is Gusly. I just want to know why you guys help us so much with doing what you do, because you guys don't really get much in return. So,
Was that for us, the peers? For you.
For you.
I want you to answer it, okay? It's why do you do so much that impact your fellow students? And then, Mrs. Counts, why do you do so much with the NAACP to help communities? And we do need to keep that to a 1-minute answer. We have to wrap up. There's other things we have to do.
Okay. I think every single one of us sitting up here and a number of students in our class and in your class as well feel very passionate about a lot of topics that come up, a lot of controversy in the news, in social media, in our school in general. Certain things just touch home. So any way that we feel we can give a voice to any one of us and we can actually see some kind of change go on, we try to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The reason that I keep doing what I'm doing is because that's the only reason I'm still here. Nobody can say where they're going if they don't know where they've been. If we don't listen to some of the elders, there's nothing I can do any longer but give you information where I've been and the things that I've seen. I've marched in Washington, D.C., Toronto, Canada, London, England, New York City. I marched with Bishop Tutu, and I have pictures to prove it, when we were doing the South African thing. And if there's people like me who've been there and done that, if I can't tell you and let somebody know and try to keep pulling you in, then my time is over anyway. My time has only begun as long as I can leave something. My legacy will be giving information and love of my people, my country, and each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for your time and your patience. You know, today was put together by the First Ward Action Committee. When I became councilwoman, I didn't want to do it alone because I know that the power of people working together is greater than someone working alone. And so we got a bunch of community people together to start working to change their community. And we decided that we didn't want to do it, the First Ward Action Committee alone, as adults, but we want to work with our children. And I just want to give Kenneth Jones, who's the second in command at the First Ward Action Committee, a moment, 1 minute to say inspiring words.
They gave me the least time, and they know I got a long voice, but I thank God for you youth that came out today. It's inspiring to see that you come out to support your colleagues here. These youth are doing an amazing job, and you have to continue to support them. There were so many great questions asked today and great answers, but you're not just our future, you are now. The reason why me and the councilwoman decided to do this First Ward Action Committee, we had you guys in mind because we see the issues that you're facing, and we were once youth that we faced these same issues. I was one of the guys that said, oh, voting don't count, until I got involved and started getting involved in civic engagement. And I found that I can make a difference in my community. I came from a very poor community, but I have a very bright and successful future. My children have a very bright, successful future. My grandchildren have a very bright, successful future because, you know, they volunteer, which is important. You know, they listen, they learn, they get involved, they take action. And and they have a great support system. And you have a great support system here. So I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, support each other, love each other, and get involved, because that's where the true change comes. You know, and make sure you do that by putting your best foot forward in action. And with that being said, they only gave me a minute, but I had a prepared speech for you guys. But one more thing I want to say, get involved. We have a design program, which is a mentor program we designed just for you guys in mind. And we know that you have a lot of gifts and talent. We want you to utilize those gifts and talent to affect change in your community and in your world. So I want y'all to sign up, get involved. We got some great things in store for you, but remember that it's all about you, and your voice counts. And be seen and be heard, and make sure you make a difference in your world.
Thank you so much, Brother John. He's an amazing man. He gives and cares about his community. And about this program, we designed the outer structure, but it will be shaped by you. There's no way we're going to prescribe what you need. You're going to tell us what you need and how this program should fairly be run to give you and answer the needs that you have and the concerns that you have. I want to close out because I have to know that you guys get it. I have to know that you get that you have the power to change the world. And so what I'm going to need for you to do, I need a couple of you to come up here. I want you to say your name. Listen, say your name, your grade, and something awesome about you that you believe will change this world. You got that? Your name, your grade, and something awesome about you that's going to change the world. I need my first volunteers. Give me my first 5. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, come on. Don't be shy. This is your time. Look in that camera. I want you to say your name. about you that's going to change this world?
All right, so my name is Jacob Rosario. I am a senior, and one thing about me that I think will change the world is that I love everyone.
That's right. Awesome. He said he loved the world and he does not discriminate. Come on. The world needs to know how awesome you are. Go ahead.
I am Isaiah Folson. I am a sophomore here at Abraham Clark High School. And one thing about me that that would change the world is my leadership.
Yeah! You said leadership.
My name is Demetrius, and I'm a freshman in 9th grade. And I think one thing that that's like good about me that can impact the world is my ability to connect with people through my talking to people and my leadership skills.
Awesome. You and I share the same skill, the ability to connect with people. Right there, Kathy.
I'm the vice president of the Beta Club. My name is Kwame Amari, and I'm in 10th grade, and I'm the vice president of Sigma Beta Club. And one thing I think can change the world is my work ethic.
Yes, wow, work ethic. His work ethic. Is there, come on.
My name is Jaden White. I'm a senior, and one thing about me that could really change the world is right now it's only with my friends, but the people around me, I always make sure that if I'm prospering, they're also prospering.
Wow.
So we can all make sure that the whole school and all Roselle and even go further than that can all prosper as well.
Amazing. And what's your name again? Jaden? Yes. Oh my God, I love his answer. And one of the things that I tell people all the time, I do a lot of public speaking. And one of the things listen, I need you. He's got a fan club over there. But one of the things I want you to know, what makes a person successful is not just to carve out success for themselves, but their ability to clear the path for others to be successful as well. And he just nailed it. Give him another round of applause. Anybody else? Because I love that jacket.
My name is Jessica Nunley. I'm in 12th grade, and I'm very well-rounded, and I can do anything I put my mind to.
She says she can do anything that she puts her mind to. Anyone else?
Yeah, Evelyn.
My name is Evelyn. I'm a senior, and I think something about me that I feel could change the world is my love for animals and my want to make an animal sanctuary or rescue in the future.
Awesome. I love it. Animals are God's creatures too.
My name is Michelle. I'm a sophomore, and one thing that I think could change the world is my talent, because I think I can inspire other people to do the same thing that I can do.
She said she can inspire people, but if you wanted to add, I thought it was good.
I run track. I've been on varsity since freshman year, so.
She says she has the power to inspire others. And I need you on my team to help me inspire the rest of us to move forward and change the world. So thank you, okay? Those are for you. Anyone else? One more. Come on. Okay, two more. Come on, if you want to come.
Yeah, Jada.
I'm Jada. I'm in 11th grade. And one thing that I think I can change is the fact that I listen. I listen to people when they're in trouble, I listen to people when they're happy, and I listen to them when they're in need.
Awesome. And she shares that with the congressman. The congressman said what makes him a good congressman is that he has the ability to listen. sins and to know what's important to other people so he can go to DC and fight for that. So that's going to get you very far, your listening skills. Anyone else, and then we'll close out? Okay. I just want you guys, listen to me. Listen to me. I need all of your attention. I want you to know that you have the power to change the world. It is so serious. I think I said it like 20 times today. Did I not? Because it's true. You have the power to change this world. And I want you to repeat after me, and I need loudness because we're at the end of this day. I gave you all of me. I want all of you to close out, okay? So repeat after me, okay? ROTC, you know you my killers, so let's do that. Right? Y'all killed it earlier. You did it. All right. We can. Learn together. Work together. And change the world together. We can. Learn together. Work together. And change the world together. Mic drop. Let's give it to Mr. Biggins. Thank you. I love you guys so much.
Give it up one more time for Councilwoman Wilkerson. Committeeman Mr. Kenneth Jones as well for spearheading this event and putting it together. Councilwoman, let me say this to you. This will not be the last time we do this. This will not be the last time we do this. How did you enjoy yourself? Did you learn a lot today? Do you understand that student voice is very important? You know that you have a voice. Say, I have a voice. I have a voice. I can change the world. I can change the world. Give yourselves a round of applause if you know you're ready. Right. So with that said, we're going to wrap it up. And again, I just want to also thank our lovely, especially, listen, it's very important. Let me say this. It's very important for your peers to come and speak before you, right? It takes a lot of courage. It really does. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of heart, right? For them to speak before you, to speak before adults. So give your peers a round of applause for sitting up on the panel. A lot of courage. And also our guests for being here on the panel. Mayor Denzero, thank you for being here. Thank you. Ms. Counts, thank you for being here. Gotcha. Mr. Berner, thank you for being here as well. Greatly appreciated. And always remember, the community of Roselle loves you. The community of Roselle loves you because if it weren't the case, none of these individuals will be here today. All right? They spent time with you this morning, pouring into your lives. You learned something in the process. But we want the things that you learned today, all the information that you took in, to you, each and every one of you, our panelists as well, our students, we want for you to begin to apply these wonderful things and information that you learned today to your everyday lives. Can we do that? Yeah. Can we begin to apply these wonderful things and this information that we learn into our everyday lives? Yeah. I expect that of each and every one of you. With that said, have a great rest of the afternoon. We have some information here.
If you're interested, I want my beautiful, beautiful mistress of ceremony to turn around and show you, but we have a form. If you're interested in joining this youth program, please make sure you sign up and we'll reach out to you and give your parents the information they need to make the choice. Thank you so much.
It seems like you wanted it before you leave. One more time before we leave. Bro. Sam. Bro. Sam. We are the Rams. We are the Rams. And we are Ram ready. One more time. Bro. Sam. Bro. Sam. All right, guys. Thank you so much, guys.